So I've gotten every single achievement in Hollow Knight, beat every single boss without getting hit a single time, and now there's absolutely nothing else that the base game can offer me in terms of challenge trust. But I wanted more, and after looking, I found Inferno King Grimm, a souped up, juiced up, cocained out version of Nightmare King Grimm. And not only did I want to defeat this boss, but I wanted to beat him without getting hit. So without further ado, here is my experience radianting Inferno King Grimm. Now you might be asking, who even is Inferno King Grimm, and what are the differences to the Nightmare King? Because obviously, since this is a modded boss, they aren't the same. So, in this section of the video, I intend on breaking down all three phases of the fight, which each get progressively difficult, the attacks in them, and the strategies I use to deal with them. Starting this off for phase 1 is his dive attack. Now this attack is super simple and is honestly just like the one that Nightmare King Grimm uses, so what I did is just pogoed on him when he dived down and then double jump to not dash into any lingering fire. Now for the next attack, I call it the slash into uppercut, and this one is also very similar to Nightmare King Grimm's. So basically what you want to do is when he teleports in, you want to dash away from where he is, so that way neither the slash or the uppercut hit you, and then you want to shade cloak through the fire that spawns from him. And if you shade dash too early, don't worry about it, just D-Dark and you'll normally have enough invincibility to get through it anyways. Now we have our first truly modified attack in the form of the double spike floor. Now this one is exactly like the spike floor that Nightmare King Grimm spawns, but we now have 2 layers to deal with. It's really simple though, you just kind of dodge the first layer and then jump slightly to the left or right of your choosing, and you'll normally get through the second phase as well. Now for pillars, this one is actually pretty interesting. Not only are the pillars faster, but he now spawns 5 instead of 4 of them. My main strategy of dealing with this one is I like to walk towards King Grimm while he spawns them because they don't actually spawn faster than your walk distance. And then on the 4th one, you jump the opposite direction of Grimm, dash through it so you bait the 5th one to come up behind you, and then you can usually get a few hits on Grimm here. Now for his bats, they're even easier than they are in the Nightmare King Grimm fight. You literally just dash through them and hit them. This is where you'll be getting most of your damage in this phase. The Pufferfish attack does return, but fuck that attack. We're gonna talk about it later. How about I just show you? Yeah, let's just move on to phase 2 and we'll get back to that. So off rip, you'll notice an immediate change in the spike floor attack. It now spawns either on the sides and then in the middle, or in the middle of the stage and on the sides. So basically you just kind of want to hang around the 1/3 mark of the stage and do your just jump to the sides again. It still works. Grimm's dive now becomes a just straight vertical dive down with fire coming out of it. The main strategy for this one is you just kind of want to hang directly next to him when he comes down. The fire will never hit you, just kind of treat it like a Mantis Lord dive. Bats is now no longer the easiest move in the game and is actually kind of tricky. So he'll spawn on one side of the stage and shoot 2 bats, one going up and one going down, and then he'll either teleport to the other side of you, or if there isn't enough room to teleport behind you, he'll teleport closer to you and shoot 2 more bats that are more center focused, which you normally want to dash through. Here, you just want to dash through the center column and then dash through the middle, and if you ever feel like you're freaking out, just D-Arc. Pillars in this phase is exactly how it is in phase 1, and you already know how to deal with this attack. So the uppercut tries to fuck with you and be mixy, and I hate it. So basically, he'll come down, act like he's gonna swing at you, and then teleport either behind you, or obviously if there isn't enough stage, either in the same place or a little closer to you before doing the slash into uppercut. The only thing I can tell you here is not to freak out. All of my deaths from this attack came from preemptively dashing, and if you do preemptively dash, just D-Dark. Other than that, treat it like you normally would, just wait a little bit. Finally, as we end off phase 2, Grimm actually gets a new attack where he spreads out his arm and shoots out a bunch of fire from his cape. For this one, I like to double jump to bait the fireballs up, so that way you have a bunch of ground space to work with and can normally D-Dark or just double jump out of the way any fire that comes at you. After super fucked up and evil Pufferfish attack part 2, we move on to phase 3. The only real attack differences involve spikes, uppercut, and dive, so those are the only attacks I'll be talking about in phase 3. Starting up for phase 3, we have the spike floor. Now it goes kind of back to the phase 1 spike floor where we have multiple layers, but instead we get 3 instead of 2. All you have to do for this one is just jump to the side one more time. This one's really easy. Now for phase 3 dive, it's the same as phase 2 dive, but he actually does it 3 times. So he'll land, teleport to the other side of you, and then dive again. You can just kind of treat it like phase 2 dash, just make sure to walk around in between dive cycles. So phase 3 pillars is just like the other two, except Grimm will actually teleport away when the 3rd pillar starts up. So don't really worry about hitting him too much here, just do the same pillar dodge cycle that you've been using the entire fight. Okay, so I'll keep it a stack. I don't really know how to transition to talk about the Pufferfish attack, so I'm just gonna show you a death montage to show you how fucking stupid this shit is, and then we'll get into it. The thing about this attack that I think was so hard for me to deal with is that, first of all, it is just super overwhelming with all of that fire on the screen at once. So my main plan, obviously, as you can see, is to D-Dark multiple times to abuse the iframes in order to get to the attack. The problem is that depending on the angles of the fireballs can linger on screen a lot longer than they should, and to be honest, it just kind of feels like RNG sometimes. So after a while of trying to do this, I realized I just had to change my charm loadout, and one charm would save it all. So I was tired of getting my ass beat. So here I am thinking, what do I even do? I'm not going to be able to get this Radiant done. I can't do it. But then one charm came to my mind. I'm like, okay, if the fireball attack is what's giving me trouble, I'll just equip Boulder Shell. Boulder Shell will allow me to abuse a bunch of iframes during the fire attack, and I won't have to use as much soul. So now, my Pufferfish attack cycles went from looking like this to looking like this. As you can see, this looks a lot less stressful, and now that I've gone over every single attack and how to deal with it and my strategies and the pain and suffering from this Pufferfish, let me show you the no-hit run. So there you have it. I beat the boss, and I want to thank you all for watching the video. I'm going to keep this outro short because I've been procrastinating on actually finishing this shit for like 2 weeks. So, goodbye.